How does a cybersecurity company use content marketing to attract and grow its audience? We're going to find out more about that today with Rani Khan, Director of Marketing at Praesidio. Rani, thanks for being here and talking to me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you are the Director of Marketing at Percity. Tell us a little bit more about what Percity does and tell me more about your role there.
Percity is a cybersecurity software company that helps to bridge the gap between IT and the C-suite. We all know cybersecurity is a growing, changing field, and it's important, especially for financial institutions, to be safe. So that's where we focus, is selling just to the financial institutions.
And so what is it, give me a little bit of idea of the kind of the products and services that you all offer those financial institutions.
So Percity offers a single solution. It's software that's supported by a team of security operations experts. And the software allows us to do a few different types of things. It's what we call a new layer in the stack. So it's a new category that we're creating. It pulls together incident management, SIM type searching and remediation, asset management, real-time dashboards and reporting. So you can detect and find threats, use the tools you need to help solve them, and then provide the reporting that management needs to prove to the board that you're doing your job and you're keeping the bank safe.
One of the things that we talked about before this started was content, kind of where does good content come from? That's always a question I like to ask. There's been so much in the news, like you mentioned, about cybersecurity incidents. It seems like there's something new every day that it's not like you have to create the fear on your own. That's already going on. But if everybody is in that mode of being fearful, how do you translate that into something that helps your company by using content? What are the things that you all have done that you have found effective or that you want to continue exploring? If you could just kind of talk about that dynamic of lots of stuff going on out there, but probably more education for you all still in terms of what it is that you all do and how that helps the companies that you protect.
Yeah, it's a great question and a very timely one for us. Financial institutions are attacked 3 times as much as other companies. So it's especially important for them to stay current with the latest on cybersecurity defenses. So Percity plays a really important role in helping banks keep their customers' data and money safe. And one of the best ways we do that is through creating, unique, relevant, authentic content. So that's everything from webinars about the new regulations to white papers to shorter pieces that we have on our website, blog articles, emails. We really try and take a very holistic multi-channel approach. One of the ways that we've had success is through our blog. I think we have a really strong, suite of people who can write. So we have articles from the CTO or the CEO's perspective. We have articles from the technology perspective. And we even have some fun stuff where we mention things like a new hit TV show this past year called Mr. Robot, which is about cybersecurity, and then answer back and tie in, maybe some of the questions that, the everyday person has after watching that show. Is this fact or fiction? Or, oh gosh, that was really scary. Is that real or was that, Hollywood magic? So you need to be able to speak to different types of audiences when you're creating content. So again, a multi-channel approach, but also speaking to all the different personas as well.
So, one of the things that I've always found is that when you have a need for blog content, getting people motivated to want to participate is usually the biggest hurdle. They have, your thought leaders at your company have the expertise in their heads, and they can probably better communicate than you can to the different personas like you talked about, but it's getting them motivated, it's getting them to find time for it, etc. That's often the challenge. What is it that you all have done that's been successful to get all those different voices actually participating?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a very common problem that marketers are going to run into, and that's never going to change. So the big thing for me is making sure that you have that initial buy-in up front on what and why we're doing. And I'm very fortunate that the leadership team here at Praesidio is very passionate, and they understand the value of educational content. So that's something we addressed right up front when we were doing initial go-to-market plans, and we got the verbal commitment there. So from there, it's about being very structured and thoughtful in creating content calendars, having strict timelines and deadlines and topics well planned out. So I've got that planned out all the way through the end of the year. And then, of course, knowing that, ish happens, and you have to figure out how to roll the punches and have changes on the fly. So I have a list of, back pocket topics that we can talk about. My sales team generates questions that they're running into, sales objections. So let's address those in the blog and be proactive about communicating, because if our customers have questions, it's because they don't understand something. And if we can come out as an authority and speak and be relevant in a clear, concise way, it only helps.
So what's some of the big things that you've learned? What's at least one big thing you've learned as you've gone through this process of developing good content and trying to reach your audience, et cetera?
Absolutely. So one of the big aha moments that we had, I would say early on, is the fact that we need to sell to more than one type of client. So we deal mostly with the C-suite, so CIOs, CFOs, CEOs, because boards of directors are now liable. So it's the people that answer to the board directly that are really caring about this solution. However, they have technology people who are going to need to vet this solution, because those are the people, one, who understand the details, and two, are the people that are going to be using the solution going forward. So it has to work with the other systems. What we found is if we don't get that technology person on board as a champion, it's a no-go. If it doesn't work, they can stall the sale. So we really have to attack both paths simultaneously. So either coming from the executive path or creating what we're calling a cybersecurity hero. So if we can get the IT security team to see that Percity is not only going to help them do their job better and help them be more successful with their career, but really position them to be the hero of their organization. It's not if you're going to be hacked, it's when. And if you're going to be hacked, do you have a plan? You've got to catch it quickly. You've got to solve the issue, and then you have to have the right information to share out to your management team so that they can, appease the board. That's huge, and it's very, very complex. So Percity helps with that.
So I'm going to ask you a very leading question, simply because it's going to support my long-standing theory that good marketing starts with knowing your audience, not knowing the tools or whatever the latest little, woo-woo platform is. Because what I heard from you was not just an understanding of your audience, but an understanding of the sales cycle, of the understanding of the decision makers, and the dynamics of how all those play together. Then you have to come back with marketing strategies and campaigns and et cetera that meets those things. So please affirm for me my theory that you have to know your audience and the things that they're dealing with before you could even try to come up with something marketing related, and refute that or support that however you'd like.
I completely agree with you. I think knowing your audience and having an intelligent, thoughtful go-to-market plan is where you start. Technology tools to help marketers are there. They should be how you get the job done. They shouldn't dictate what you do. So I think it's much more important to put some mind share up front, learning your audience, how your sales team's going to go to market, and then coming up with some really unique, compelling ways to support them. And maybe it's stepping outside of the box a little bit. Maybe it's, you have your straight campaigns, but there's something a little bit more fun and edgy. So for example, our cybersecurity hero campaign has this really neat landing page where it shows, a traditional IT guy. And then when you scroll down, we use parallax to sweep over, and there's an animation of him illustrated as a hero. And it talks about this content piece that aligns to it. So it's going to be a whole series that cascades for a long time. And that one little piece is unique. And yes, we are using some, whiz-bang new technology, parallax, We could send the emails for that from my computer. I don't need a fancy email system if you don't have one in place. Just, you have to roll up your sleeves and get her done. It's really about creating the compelling content, and then the tools are just a small execution detail.
That's right. That's great. Yeah, no, I agree. There was something else I was going to ask you. Let me give you a few kind of digital marketing areas, and I'd love to get your feedback in terms of how important these things are for your specific business. So we heard content, super important. How important is, say, social media? Just kind of a quick answer.
I think social media is really important, but for us, it's important in a different way than it's been important for me in other companies. So typically social is about creating a large community of followers. We sell right now exclusively to banks and credit unions. Our market is very small, and bank executives, they're not really on Twitter or, LinkedIn regularly. It's not their space. However, what we do find is press and analysts on social media. And if we're sharing and retweeting, that helps all the backlinks back to our website. So it helps from an SEO perspective. And it also helps just establish brand credibility for us.
What kind of value has organic search been for you all?
Organic search is a huge thing that I believe in. It's one of the reasons why I think content's so important. With all the changes to the algorithms over the past year, you can't game the system anymore. You really have to be relevant and authentic in order to rank high. And putting that content out there, syndicating it out through the right channels, having the backlinks to your website, and having all the right metadata so people can find you when they're searching for cybersecurity. It's clutch. It's how we're going to win.
So last question I wanted to ask you before you get out of here is this. There's a way that you keep your job. There's a way that you define success in your job. It's not just bringing donuts or, having snazzy presentation materials. Sitting in your role, how do you feel that you're evaluated based on performance, and how does that impact what you do from a strategy and tactical perspective?
Well, so we are a technology forward company, so analytics is absolutely critical to what we do. My team looks at campaign metrics frequently. We have monthly comparisons to prior months that we roll up from a department level as well as up to our CEO. We sync up with our sales team on a weekly basis on leads. So everything we do is analytics based, and we're always looking to improve. I think it's just one of those things, you have to have no ego about it. And you have to put yourself out there and be totally open for people to say, hey, that wasn't good. What about this? Because that's how you get ideas. That's how you foster, creativity and input from the rest of your team.
That's great. That's great. Hey, thanks for letting me talk to you for a little bit. How can people connect with you online if they want to reach out to you and maybe ask some more questions?
Sure, feel free to email me. It's Rani at Percity, RANI at Percity. You can check out our website, www.percidio.com. My email's on there as well, so feel free.
Very good.
Also,
Thanks so much. They should check out your
thanks.
what?
You should check out the Cybersecurity Hero landing page. It's pretty sexy.
Absolutely. Everybody go check it out right now. Very good. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay.